Let us pray. O God, we come together in your name in this Parliament to debate our nation's affairs and pass laws for the betterment and welfare of all Fijians. Guide us in our deliberations and grant us the wisdom to do what is just and fair. We ask you to bless our beloved nation and grant every Fijian peace, prosperity, and equal opportunity. Help us to serve our citizens with honesty, integrity, and without fear or favor, to keep the trust of those who have sent us here. We seek your divine guidance to continue to build a better nation for all Fijians. In your name, Amen. Honorable members, please be seated. Secretary General.
Confirmation of minutes.
I now call on the Leader of Government in Parliament, the Honourable Aiyaz, to move his motion. You have the floor, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Sir, Mr. Speaker, I move that the minutes of the sitting of Parliament held on Friday, 11th February 2022, as previously circulated, be taken as read and be confirmed.
Is there a seconder?
Honourable Speaker, I beg to second the motion.
Honourable members, the Parliament will now vote on the motion. The question is that the minutes of the sitting of Parliament held on Friday, 11th February 2022, as previously circulated, be taken as read and be confirmed. Does any member oppose the motion? No. As no member opposes, the motion is agreed to unanimously. Secretary General.
Communications from the Chair.
I welcome all honourable members to this evening's sitting for the delivery of the 2021-2022 revised budget, those present in person and those joining virtually. I also welcome everyone watching the live broadcast of tonight's proceedings from the comfort of their home and electronic devices. Thank you for your continued interest in the working of your Parliament. Ruling on the email and statement by the National Federation Party. Honourable members, I will now address issues raised by the National Federation Party in regards to A, the unanimous decision of the Business Committee to defer the scheduled 7th to 11th March sitting to 4th to 8th April, and B, the purported subversion of parliamentary democracy and ambush of parliamentary processes. Honourable members, the Honourable Pio Tigunduandua stated that he had only read the email communication from the Secretariat on the morning of Monday, 28th February 2022, as he was in Ra all weekend. he then made the following recommendations in his communication. 1, that the agenda for the tabling of the revised budget and its debate be tabled at the Business Committee meeting on 3rd March 2022. 2, the scheduled sitting of Parliament for the 7th to 11th March to remain, and 3, the scheduled Business Committee meeting for 3rd March to remain. Honourable members, also in his communication, the Honourable Tikundu Ondua felt that the flying minute was most unusual and illegal. It does not provide any clarification how this was illegal. Honourable Tikundu Ondua then argued that A, there is absolutely no need or urgency to send a flying minute for the sole purpose of tabling and debating a budget when a proper business committee has been properly scheduled for 3rd March 2022, and B, that there is no direct bearing of a scheduled meeting of Parliament and a supplementary budget. A proper sitting of Parliament should not be set aside unless for a very special reason. A revised budget is not a special reason. Parliament, during the height of COVID-19 crisis, cancelled sittings. This is understandable. This removal of the sittings of Parliament in March is unnecessary, uncalled for, and illegal. Honourable Tikundu Ondua added that the Speaker of Parliament and the Secretary-General to Parliament should defend Parliament's interests and independence first, and should not have entertained the proposals to set aside the March Parliament sitting by the government. He further stated that the office of the Speaker should have done to the government proposal as it does to issues raised by the opposition, and that was for tables to disallow it. Honourable members should take note of the following. 1, the Speaker's office considers all requests and submissions from all parties in Parliament and individual members with utmost respect and undertakes due diligence before a decision is taken. All members should be aware that when the Speaker's office makes a decision, it is guided by the standing orders, relevant laws, precedents or previous rulings, and the Constitution. The Speaker's office also takes a holistic approach and considers whether an urgent matter brought before Parliament serves the national interest. 2, honourable members are well aware that the Fijian economy is in the recovery stages from the effects of the pandemic, and we should all be considerate as members of this august institution that the welfare of all Fijians remain paramount. 3, the government did inform this House, all members of Parliament present, and the nation on 16 July 2021 through the Honourable Minister for Economy's 2021-2022 budget address that the budget would be reviewed after 6 months. It is already past 6 months in this financial year, and all members should have anticipated this. As Speaker, I saw no reason why we should not consider the government's proposal for a sitting to review the 2021-2022 budget. 4. Honourable members, I wish to remind you all that all backbenchers were furnished with the necessary tools such as high-end smartphones, laptops, and mobile internet access to ensure that you successfully perform your functions. It is inexcusable to claim that you have not received communications from the Secretariat on important matters relating to your work as parliamentarians, or that such communications were late. Honourable members, at this juncture, I wish to inform all honourable members that a flying minute pertaining to the revised budget sittings and deferral of the March sitting to April was communicated to the Business Committee, which comprises 4 members from the government, 2 members from SODELFA, and 2 members from the NFP. The Business Committee had 3 clear days to peruse its contents and provide comments accordingly. No objections were received, and following that, the final order papers were circulated to all honourable members. There has been no subversion of parliamentary democracy, nor an ambush of parliamentary processes. All honourable members will be given an opportunity to contribute to the debates. I remind honourable members that the job of the opposition to hold the government to account is not only limited to the budget processes. The opposition has ample opportunity and space to voice its concerns and undertake oversight work through the various parliamentary committees. The standing committees allows all members from both sides to ask critical questions and scrutinize public expenditures and the raising of revenue in the various implementing agencies of the government. Additionally, the opposition has further opportunity to undertake its oversight role through business brought to the floor of the House, such as debates on motions, petitions, bills, and question time, and end-of-week statements. Honourable members, I reiterate that the Speaker's office and the Office of the Secretary-General are here to serve the honourable members of Parliament. We are here to ensure that Parliament undertakes its business in a timely and efficient manner. It would be unbecoming of an honourable member to question the integrity and the virtues of how each Parliament meeting or sitting is facilitated. The diligent facilitation of the Parliament sittings is duly undertaken to enable the honourable members of Parliament to undertake their legislative, representative and oversight mandates. Honourable members, I thank you. Secretary-General.
Motion by the Honourable Leader of the Government pursuant to Standing Order 6.
I now call upon the Leader of Government in Parliament, the Honourable Aiyaz Ratu, to move his motion. You have the floor, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, sir, pursuant to Standing Order 6, I move that so much of the following standing orders be suspended. One is Standing Orders 68-1 to examine the 2021-2022 revised budget address by the Honourable Attorney General and Minister for Economy including the response from the Shadow Minister for Economy and the right of reply from the Honorable Attorney General and Minister for Economy from the ordinary speaking time limitations. To Mr. Speaker, sir, is the Standing Orders 102, 104 and 108 to expedite the 2021-2022 revised budget process through Parliament. And thirdly, Mr. Speaker, sir, Standing Orders 23.1 and 34 to allow the 2021-2022 revised budget process to take place today and tomorrow, to allow the Parliament to sit beyond ordinary sitting times and to limit the refreshments, lunch and dinner breaks today and tomorrow, to be determined by the Honourable Speaker so as not to unduly interrupt the business of the House. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir.
Is there a seconder?
Honorable Speaker, I beg to second the motion.
I now call upon the Leader of Government in Parliament to speak on his motion. You have the floor, sir.
Thank you. Very briefly, Mr. Speaker, sir, I'm moving the suspension motion so as to allow the Honourable Attorney General and Minister for Economy to table the 2021-2022 revised budget. Mr. Speaker, sir, as you had alluded to earlier, yes, the government had informed the House through the 2021-2022 budget address on 16th July 2021 that the budget would be reviewed after 6 months. As all honourable members are aware, it's critical for us to take urgent and decisive action with respect to our economic recovery so as to continue to address the very issues that have emanated as a result of the effects of the pandemic. Fiji is not alone in this. Other countries are grappling with the same issues, Mr. Speaker, sir. Mr. Speaker, sir, I have already outlined the particular standing orders that need to be suspended. The suspension of Standing Order 68.1, again, is to examine the revised budget address, the response by the Shadow Minister for Economy, and the right of reply from the Honourable Attorney General and Minister for Economy from the ordinary speaking time limitations. It's now established practice, Mr. Speaker, sir, that the Shadow Minister for Economy is allowed to speak for the same amount of time that is taken by the Honourable Attorney General and Minister for Economy. The suspension of Standing Orders 102, 104 to 108 is to expedite the 2021-2022 revised budget process through Parliament. Mr. Speaker, as I have alluded to, this is necessary and essential so that our economy can continue to positively address and mitigate the effects of the pandemic. Mr. Speaker, sir, this is the august body that can take decisions to help make a difference in the Fijian people's lives. And we need to expedite this process so that the necessary immediate actions can then be implemented. And at the end of the day, Mr. Speaker, sir, we have to do this for the Fijian people who are at most need. And I know that this August House of the Fijian people watching tonight, that government will continue to do all necessary and within the avenues available to it to address the issues that the most vulnerable Fijians are facing. Finally, Mr. Speaker, sir, the suspension of Standing Orders 23.1 and 34 is to allow the 2021-2022 revised budget process to take place today and tomorrow to allow the Parliament to sit beyond ordinary sitting times and to limit the refreshments, lunch and dinner breaks today and tomorrow to be determined by the Honourable Speaker so as to not unduly interrupt the business of the House. With these few words, Mr. Speaker, sir, I thank you for this opportunity and I seek support from all honourable members. Vinak.
Thank you. Honourable members, the floor is now open for debate on the motion. And I now give the floor to the Honourable Liberty Sawal. You have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. So I rise to contribute to the motion at hand regarding Standing Order 6. At the outset, I'd like to express our opinion on this side of the House regarding the way in this, the topic of the revised budget has been managed. But before that, I'd like to welcome the Honorable Prime Minister, Honorable Bain Marama, back into the Parliament in terms of the health issues he has gone through, and we welcome him today on this side of the House. So we are very concerned about the way this has been managed and the way it has been handled in terms of the business committee, etc. And we, in the opposition, express our view that we only have a few hours to review the whole budget estimates and supplements to prepare the responses tomorrow. And we have the view that this debate will be severely truncated and shortened. And the underhand style of governing is not new, where the opposition is ambushed at every opportunity, and this is another example. In rules set by the Attorney General, and it is, in our perspective, undemocratic and tantamount to treating Parliament like a rubber stamp at the whims of the Minister of Economy. So, Honourable Speaker, what was really upsetting was that all preparations had been done in terms of our questions and motions for the session from 7 to 11 March. And we had all gone through the tables, etc., prepared our motions and questions, and preparing for business committee when the flying minute came. And again, this is already in the approved Parliament calendar. If this had been foreseen from 6 months before, then why wasn't this planned ahead instead of what we term as a last-minute change? It indicates lack of professionalism and arrogance and just plain incompetence in the management of such issues. Not only that, also in financial planning. Let me remind the House that we were advised by a flying minute on the 25th of February at 3:31 p.m. And the deadline given for comments was Monday, 11 a.m., 28th Feb. That 25th Feb is a Friday, and anything of such critical importance should be discussed by our members, our caucus. And this was impossible because this was sent on Friday, and we were expected to respond by 11 a.m. on 28th Feb. This was approved on the 28th Feb, 11:56 a.m. We did not respond, sir, because on principle, we do not agree with this process, which has, in our view, hijacked the Parliament process. And what was very insulting was that on the 25th Feb, at 9:36 a.m., the Honourable Minister of Economy issued a public statement on IBC stating that the Minister of Economy confirms that the revised budget will be announced on 24th March. This is even before 25th March 2022 at 9:36 a.m. on 25th Feb. On 25th Feb, on that same day, the flying minute was issued at 3:31 p.m. Even before that, he had made the public statement that the revised budget will be discussed on tomorrow. So we consider this as undermining the process of the business committee and an insult. And this is why we, on this side of the House, have repeatedly said that this Parliament process has been hijacked. And we are asking ourselves, why bother? Because he has already made the decision even before the business committee makes the decision. And we state that Parliament should serve its functions. It should really be, and there needs to be a drastic change in the standing orders and operations in practice. And this can only be achieved with a change of government. And in terms of the flying minute for today, there was again a revised standing order which we received. This was by flying minute today at 24th March, 10:26 a.m. to respond by midday to include what has been included here, Standing Order 6 and Standing Order 51. And the final order paper was sent at 2:46 p.m. Again, sir, this to us it just shows lack of management and undermining the parliamentary process. Not only that, but just total lack of respect for Parliament as an institution and also for the opposition side of the House. And I remind government that we were elected. We were elected. We didn't come here by invitation. We were elected. And we represent nearly 50% of the population, and that should be respected. On these standing orders, sir, as in terms of the motion at hand, again, if you look at Standing Order 68, speaking times and putting of questions, this is a supplementary budget, a revised budget, and it's very, very critical that we discuss it fully. Again, this is restricted in terms of what we will be doing tomorrow, because we are suspending Standing Orders 58. And Standing Order 102, again, that is being suggested to be suspended. Supplementary estimates. If you read there, to provide for expenditure not already provided for, the bill to be known as supplementary appropriation bill must be accompanied by a document to be known as supplementary estimates. So I believe that from what I've heard, this is to be suspended, the whole thing. And I mean, if you suspend 102, 1 to 5, it looks to me like the whole detailed supplementary budget will not be coming before the House. But I don't know, I could be wrong. But if we suspend it, then that doesn't give us the empowerment to discuss those issues in detail. And that's what I wanted to raise in terms of, again, 104 and 108, Standing Orders 104, 108. That's on the amendments, and 108 on withdrawal of amendments. Again, this restricts what we can do in terms of the discussions on this supplementary budget. And again, I reiterate that we are totally unhappy, totally insulted by the acts of we in the Business Committee and we on this side of the House, before even the Business Committee approves. The Honorable Minister of Economy had already announced in the FBC. Thank you, sir.
I thank the Honorable Philip Patricio for his contribution. I now give the floor to the Honorable Ikonowe Kula. You have the floor, sir.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for the opportunity to contribute to the debate. As stated by our whip, we are opposing this motion. The motion is asking the House for leave to suspend a number of standing orders to allow the government side to put through the revised or this mini budget. And Honorable Speaker, we asked the question whether is it necessary to suspend these standing orders. And we answered that, Honorable Speaker, by looking at what is the purpose of the standing orders and what is the purpose of the motion or this mini budget that is being tabled tonight. The standing order, Honorable Speaker, in my view, we should all agree, allows for the decorum of the House, and it also allows for a very, very important aspect, which is to inform the public totally, and the public are no longer not part of us. A lot of them are listening tonight, and they will be tomorrow, and it is their right to be fully informed of what's happening here, especially in relation to what we have today and tomorrow of what is called a mini budget. A mini budget, Honorable Speaker, is not just an ordinary thing. It's an exception. It's an extraordinary matter for the government and for the public to know. And if we look at the authorization for a mini budget, it says, in relation to finances, the fiscal strategy, and by that is a reference to the budget in the previous year, may be amended only under 3 scenarios. And this is how the honorable, the mini budget is coming in. Where there is an economic shock occurs. So what we have is that there is now an economic shock, big economic problem. And because of that, the finances, or what we had planned before, or what we had approved in the budget last year, cannot take us to the end of the year. That is the only reason why we need a supplementary or mini budget. So the public needs to know if that in fact is the case, or is it a lie? Because a lot of us suspect that is not the case, and the reason for this mini budget is to fund their freebies for the election. And one important reason, Honorable Speaker, if you look at the funds that were allocated, that came to the government last year through grants and loans, aid in kind, totaling 1.8 billion. And we ask ourselves, do you need further readjustment to take us through? So the public is entitled to know what is the reason for this mini budget. And they will only know that if they are given, or what they are guaranteed under the standing orders of this, the standing orders. Well, what they are trying to do is to suspend. When they are trying to suspend, they are trying to deny the public information in relation to this. Well, let's take for an example. They are asking here the suspension of Standing Order 68. Now, what does Standing Order 68 say? Standing Order 68 allows the time limit to be 20 minutes. But that's not going to happen. What they're trying to do is the minimum time so that they can push this through, so that the whole of Fiji, at the end of it, does not really understand what's wrong with our economy. So that's one of the reasons why they are trying to suspend Standing Order 68. Now, let's look at another one. Another one is Standing Order 23.1. If you look at 23.1, it says that in all sittings of Parliament, you start at 9 and end by 4:30. Now, when you suspend it, the kind of problem we will have is what we have tonight. We're supposed to start at 7:30 and we are starting at 8:30. And that's the reason. So we need these guarantees for the public to know fully what's happening. And that is one of the whole reason why we are opposing this motion. Because we know that the public are entitled to full information. We know that they are entitled to know. The other suspended motion that they are looking for, Honorable Speaker, if you look at, I think it's Standing Order 108, we will not have committee. So it is to exempt or to deny the right to go through the committee. The committee stage, Honorable Speaker, allows us to examine in detail every aspect so that we should know whether we are now looking for money or readjusting money or they'll be giving away money. And that is the reason why we are opposing this. Basically, because we know that the public are entitled to the full information of what shock there is, and we really feel there is no shock, and they are going to allocate this and allocate that, which we will see after this. So for those reasons, Honorable Speaker, we oppose this motion.
I thank the Honorable Nicola for his contribution to the debate. And Honorable
Thank you.
you have the floor. You have the floor.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. And I rise to oppose the motion on the floor, particularly in regards to Standing Orders 102. And Honorable Speaker, with the suspension of the standing orders as highlighted by the government side, is a selective application of the standing orders to suit the agenda of the government side, Honorable Speaker, in regards to this revised budget. And as we know, in the previous weeks, the Honorable Minister for Economy had gone to great lengths consulting the members of the public on this revised budget. And therefore, Honorable Speaker, this is an opportune time for the members of the House, particularly from the opposition, to raise the concerns of the members of the public on issues that they have highlighted with us. And also it is important, Honorable Speaker, to note that the suspension of Standing Orders 102 on the supplementary estimates, it takes away, or shall I say what Honorable Minister for Economy always say, that the reality of the matter in regards to the consultation that he had taken to the people will be reflected in the supplementary estimates. Because, Honorable Speaker, as I had always highlighted in the House, that the priority of the government will be highlighted in the estimate, and in the supplementary estimate in this case, and whether the supplementary estimate really reflect what the Honorable Attorney General or the Honorable Minister for Economy had been taking out to the people remains to be seen. And having to suspend that, Honorable Speaker, does not give us the opportunity to really tie in the consultation and the actual budgetary allocation that will be in the supplementary estimate, and also denies the opportunity for the people to be well informed in regards to the purpose and the various sectors that will that will benefit from this revised estimate. And the people without that information will not really be in a position to really see the authenticity or the genuineness of this revised budget, Honorable Speaker. And as already I had mentioned, it is a selective application of the standing orders, again denying the people the opportunity to be informed on what the government intends to be doing in regards to the budgetary allocation. And it is important that the opportunity